Good morning. Today we're doing Valentines quick and cute pillowcases. So I have two different ones. This is more, you know me, I like bold. This is more bold. And like I said, my granddaughter always said I never gave her something with ladybugs, so here we go. She's 14, she probably won't like it. But it's okay, she's going to get it anyways. And the other one, I think is just darling. And it looks like this. Okay, let's start. I do have a pattern. I do have kits. They're going to be $20 including the pattern. And I do have a giveaway today, which we're going to do a drawing. Just say a comment. And we're going to put your name in a drawing. Lindsay's over there going to write down your name. We're going to do a drawing. And it looks like this, only you know me in flamingos. The fabric is going to be flamingos. And it's got the walnut shells in it. And it looks like this. It's absolutely darling. I didn't get time to get one made. So what you do is when you get the pattern, the directions will be at the sizing of how you cut it. So here's the body of the pillowcase. So you can sew it either 1/2 or 5/8 of an inch on two sides. So on the bottom, and then down here. You can either French seam it. I have a serger, so I serged it down here, just on two sides, and you want to leave your opening, obviously, like that. So then you turn the right sides out. Because I'm kind of a little nutcase, I take a pin and I pin it all the way around, or I take my mini point little pusher and I do it all the way around. And of course I do my corners with it because it makes it perfect. So here you are. Right sides out. Then you have your 2-inch scallop for this part because I like it to pop. Okay? So you take 2 pieces of fabric, right sides together. Make sure you know which one you want on the outside. And also the fabric that looks like the newspaper is directional. So when you put it on, make sure it is directional. So 2 pieces of fabric, right sides together. Make sure that you trace around the ruler. Once again, you mark your end points, mark your centers. Please mark everything that are on these rulers. I have a reason for everything. I tend to be a little on the OCD side. Okay? And as I do every 3rd or 4th hump, put a pin. Because when I have a really long length of fabric, if you're doing like a quilt or whatever, you want to make sure that you roll it up. Because I have a 30-pound cat that thinks pins are just awesome. And he puts them in his teeth and he runs off and makes me chase him and pull him out because he's a weirdie. So as I go, I roll it up. Then when I sew it, I start back here and I sew it using, this is my 1/4 inch seam line with my 1/4 inch foot. I come down to my end point, do 1 stitch across, 1 stitch across, 1 stitch across. Otherwise, no space to turn. I have it all on here, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, then you want to cut it like you do when you applique. Of course, I'm getting old and blind. I can't see worth the crap. 1/8 of an inch from your sew line, like you do when you applique, because you want to get rid of all that extra fabric you do not need. You can clip it, you can pink it, but let's do it the easiest way we can. I've already got it sewn, of course, because I don't want to have you watch me do it. It's too much. So you cut it 1/8 of an inch. You cut 2 knots through the sew line here, okay? Then after you've cut everything all the way around, like I already did here, then you want to cut through 1 layer only, or you will have 2 halves and bye-bye binding, and you'll only do it once. And you'll be very, very, very sad if you do it more than once. Okay? And my nails need to be done and cut. Sorry. Then you cut through 1 layer only. and you just follow that center cut line. That's why I have this line here. So you cut through one layer only all the way through. Then you turn right sides out, okay? Then I have this little tool called the pusher. This is so you don't end up in a rubber room with a rubber toilet and chair from doing this or this, like my grandmother made me do. Let me get some spray starch. I always use spray starch. Probably because I did hair, and my grandmother had the stiffest spray starch you've ever seen. She made it out of vodka and water, and you could have stood the handkerchiefs, the underwear, the pillowcases on end because she was, oh my gosh, it was awful. And someday I'll put her recipe online, but I have my diluted. And no, she did not drink the vodka. She was Baptist, honey. There's not a chance. Oh, she was funny. Nah, she wasn't funny, but she was funny. So all you have to do is iron it. This is made out of heat-resistant macrolon, so you can iron on it. You're not going to hurt this baby. They're awesome. Okay. So then they look like this. Okay. Let me do this side a little bit. Let me see if I have a comb. I always use my comb to do the corners. Move this out of the way. I know I'm getting in the way. And I always use I did hair for a long time, so I have my little rat tail comb, but I probably don't have one around here. I probably took it upstairs, or it's over. No such luck. Let me put this up there and just get it. Make sure it looks really good on this side. Let me do this one again. I don't like the way it looks. It's not quite perfecty enough. And just make sure you put the seam allowance right on the end so it looks good. Let's iron it on the other side. Make sure you comment. Oh, make sure you comment for the drawing, so you can get a free, cute little, and it looks like this when it's done. Of course, it's done in flamingos, you guys. My favorite thing is flamingos. Let me do one more. Then after you get all of this pushed out, you fold it in half. Make sure you keep track of what direction is, because this is directional with the words on the cute little thing. Then what you want to do is, everybody wants to know how I do this cute little thing. Ruffle at the bottom. Okay, you cut it according to directions. I personally don't like it as full. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. Depends on my mood. So it'll tell you to cut 2 with the fabric by 15 inches. Okay? Sorry, my shoulder pad is kind of going wacko. And it balances out my fat hips. Okay. Sorry, too much information. I know. Okay, so what I do is, so let's say you have the 40 inches. So I'll take half of the 40 inches, which is 20, and I'll cut it out. So I'll have 40 inches plus another 20. So here is the seam. Here is another seam, so I have right sides together. So it's not a total of the 80 inches. So I'll have a total of about 60. So I put right sides out, sew it like in a big long tube, okay? Then I fold it in half, right sides together, okay? Then I take my 1.5 inch scallop, and then I just draw, just like I did the other one. Just trace, and I just do my end point. You don't need the center line. You just keep going, 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 going. Then when you get to the end, it's going to be to the point that they don't quite fit perfectly. So what you're going to do is just make them a titch smaller. Like I'll take about this much space and I make them just a little smaller. Nobody's going to notice. You're the only one who's going to notice because they're just not quite right. And they look pretty perfect to me when you get done because it's just such a little amount. So I just make them just a little smaller, and so I'll go, instead of like this, I'll bring it in a little like this, and I'll do my dot here. Then I continue until it meets the end where my this section meets, till it's perfect. Just practice, just do it. It works out awesome. It's gonna look amazing. Nobody's ever noticed in any of my things, so you're all good to go. Then, what you want to do after that is you want to cut it. Glasses again, I can't see. Then you want to sew it. The 1/4 inch, that's going to be your guide. That's your sew line. When you get your end point, make sure you do the 1 stitch across, 1 stitch across, 1 stitch across. Okay? Then you're going to cut it your 1/8 of an inch from your sew line like you do when you applique. Okay? Cut 2 not through the sew line. Just keep cutting. And I always cut everything first. I just get everything all cut out. Then I don't have to sit and push, cut, push, cut, push, cut. Of course, I put a good movie on or a mini series or something. Talk to the dogs, the cat. This morning, Harley Fern, our little new puppy, took a thing so they can't go upstairs. It's like a little hook thing. She took it outside. I thought, you little crumb cake. So I had to go look outside for that little hooker thing. And she only weighs 5 pounds, and I'm thinking, that thing almost weighs more than you do.
What brand of scissors are you using?
These are the Appliquick. I love them. They're like the old hair scissors. I've done hair since the 70s. And when I saw them, Linz was with me in Puyallup. I left my booth to go buy these. Oh, by the way, next week I'm going to be in Phoenix at the Rusty Barn Show at the fairgrounds. So I won't be doing a tutorial, but I will be at the fairgrounds next week. And I lived in Phoenix for 15 years. So, actually Tempe. Okay, once you've done that, what you want to do, let's just pretend I cut the whole thing.
What brand of cordless iron do you have?
Oh, this isn't cordless. This is just a Black & Decker. One time I went to a show and my iron died. So I had to go to Walmart and pick up an iron.
You do have the one you love.
I have the one I love. It is by, it'll come to me in a minute. It's upstairs, Panasonic. Love it, love it, love it. You can get it on Amazon. You can, I think it's like $120 on Amazon. If you go to a show sometimes, you can get them for like $90, $80, $90, $100. Love it, love it, love it, love it. It is the best iron in the whole wide world. If I have an iron last me a year, I'm like, wow, that is amazing. Because I sew 12 hours a day when I'm home. Then you put right sides out. Let's pretend I cut this whole thing. We'll put right sides out. Then once again, I have a pusher that fits this one perfectly. Okay? Use spray starch. Gotta use spray starch. Just make sure your seam allowance is on the end. And I always stand them up. I know some people don't, but I want it to look perfect. And also this fabric is blingy. Shiny, blingy. It's awesome. And it's soft. It's not like hard, shiny, icky. I like soft. And because this is right on a seam, I just make sure it looks just as good right here. My good iron's upstairs. I sew upstairs. I sew downstairs. I sew all over. And then just keep pushing, go all the way around. Then after you've pushed all this out, because I really don't like this top open when I'm going to gather it. It drives me nuts. Let me push that out one more time. I don't like the way it looks. Iron it on top, make sure it looks nice. The reason I love pillowcases is because my grandmother, she was in that era that she couldn't say she loved you. So instead of saying she loved you, she would make you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pillowcases. So to me, pillowcases mean love. And that's why I love amazingly beautiful pillowcases. And she was extremely, extremely talented. So isn't that just beautiful? Then what I do after that is I take it to the sewing machine. Sorry about the mess. I'm messy. Remember, creative minds are seldom tidy. Then I take and I put a stitch all the way around here. I pin it, then I stitch. So this is together so it doesn't drive me wacko when I'm going to gather it. Okay? Then what I do is I take it and I put it in fourths. Because when I gather it, I don't want one long stitch that's going to break because it's going to drive me nuts.
What size ruler did you use at the bottom?
1.5. The middle's 2 because I want it to pop. And that's scallops. I've got another pattern with the pattern. It is my prairie points. I have 2 patterns in one. Because I just think it looks, I don't know, I just like it. Amazing. So what I do then is I put it in fourths. And remember when we did the gathering stitches that we had to do in home ec, or grandma made you do it and she'd slap you if you didn't do it right? Maybe your grandma didn't, but mine did. My grandmother was an amazing, wonderful Christian woman, but honey, when it came to her family, you didn't do it right, she'd slap you. I'm just saying. I think she was harder on me because I didn't have a very good attention span. Lindsay said she did it so they kept me busy and I didn't get into trouble. It's probably a true story. Okay, so what you do is you change your stitch length to a 6. Okay, change your tension to an 8 or 9, depending how your machine works best at. If it keeps on threading your machine at a 9, change it to an 8. Okay, then what I do is I sew a little bit and both get the bobbin thread out and the top thread out. Then I just put it on top and I sew between pin to pin, because otherwise you're going to have, if you have this huge long, line, you're going to have more of a tendency to have it break, and it drives me nuts. Do whatever works best for you, but for me, patience isn't one of my better virtues. So I just sew between them. Okay, then after that, what I do is I take my scallops, my 2-inch scallops, I put it on the body of the case, making sure when I flip it over that the words are going the right way. Remember, this is directional. Okay? And it happens to fit just right on your pillowcase. Okay? Then you take this little baby, which I've already gathered, and you want to match. And I've already done this in fourths, and I've done this in fourths. So see the pins? All in fourths, and then all in fourths here. So let me match this. And let me match this. And let me match this. Then all I do is pull the threads and have it exactly as I want it in between each 4-part area. And when I want it to stop on one side, I just take it like this on my pin, kind of do it like a circle 8. So the other side, I can continue to gather it and it just doesn't keep slipping through. And then I don't have to worry about the threads breaking, because nothing drives you more nuts than you have this huge long string and then it breaks midstream and then you got to fix it. I think I've done too many gathers in my life. And my grandmother would make me start all over again at the beginning and take the whole thing off. Maybe that's what it is. Lindsay's over there smiling. Oh, my friend Karen Dunda's watching. Hi, Karen. And then all you have to do is pin it. It's awesome. It just is so easy. So you do that on all 4 corners, all the way around. And then all you do is sew it. I just do a 1/2 inch all the way around, because when you're done, it'll look just like that. Then I just serge it all the way around. And voila, you have a pillowcase. And it looks just like that. Any questions? Okay, and then we have the kits once again. The kits are $20, including the pattern. And I've got two different patterns. I have one with my prairie points, and then I have the other one is right here. Is the one that I did today. And I have two different ones. And let me do a drawing for this darling little pin cushion. And of course it is flamingos.
Oh, we have one more, just a second.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Oh, I gotta show you something new. You know how I get ADHD. This is my new ruler. It will be out next week. It has got scallops and mini points. Scallops on one side, mini points on the other. And so you can see the little mini points with the scallops. If you look really close, I'll do a tutorial on this pillow. I'm redoing our bedroom, and this is going to be the fabric I'm going to be using for our bedroom with all different colors. So this will be one down in the next couple weeks. So this is going to be a tutorial. And it's going to be a new ruler. And it's called Half and Half. Mini point and scallops. And let me choose who's going to win. And the winner is Karen Knoll. Karen, you won! Oh my goodness. Happy Valentine's Day, honey. Send your address, sweetie.